Trump's occupying D.C., now what? He says he's going to occupy Oakland, Chicago, and Baltimore. Now, what do all these cities have in common? There's three things. Let's state the obvious. They are all in Democratic states. The second thing is they all have black mayors. And these black mayors are doing a phenomenal job because right now, Oakland, Chicago, and Baltimore are all seeing historic decreases in violent crime. And not only are they seeing a decrease in violent crime, but Baltimore has successfully been able to decrease their homelessness rate, no thanks to the Trump administration, by 60%. So why those cities? First thing, he can appeal to his racist base by perpetuating the myth that black cities are all violent criminals and only a white savior can fix it. Second thing is he is going to claim credit for the decrease that we're already seeing. And also, too, he's on the Epstein list, and he needs to pretend he has a win. It's someone else's win, but he's going to pretend it's his.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. All credit goes to the creators in this video. Thank you for stopping by. So Trump made a huge move in Washington, D.C., declared public safety emergency, took control of the city's police department, and even brought in the National Guard. And one of the things on his list is that he's clearing out homeless encampments from parks, sidewalks, and other places in the city. And it says it's about making DC safe and beautiful. Guys, what do you think about this? Is this actually making DC safe and beautiful, or there is an hidden agenda? People living off the streets are told that they have two choices. Is either they move to a shelter or they risk being fined or jailed. And National Guard has been moving up and down through these areas, taking down tents, relocating people, and his supporters are saying it's about safety and cleaning up the city. What do you think about this in the comment section? Keep watching these videos.
So Donald Trump says he wants every homeless person in Washington, D.C. to move out immediately and relocate far from the Capitol. So what would enforcement actually look like? Political affiliation aside, I wouldn't doubt Donald Trump. Whether you like him or don't like him, he has a tremendous ability to get things done, whether they are legal or not. He will make precedent if he has to. In Washington, D.C., local law enforcement is under the mayor, not the president. The president could clear homeless folks from federal property, but what he'll probably do is pressure city officials to act. But forcing the city to remove folks from the streets is legally pretty shaky. The Home Rule Act gives D.C. a degree of self-governance, and courts will likely get involved very quickly. The bigger story here isn't whether Trump can legally pull this off. It is what his statement signals. We're in a brand new era of homelessness right now, and the general public is frustrated. Now, they might trust social services to help someone with housing, but they have lost trust in social services to deal with the behavior of chronic homelessness and the impact on the community. And when the general public loses trust in that, guess who they put their trust in? Elected officials, even when their ideas are aggressive and controversial. Thanks for watching.
Wow. In another unhinged rant, just listen to how Donald Trump says if he didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, we wouldn't be able to have the Olympics there.
It's a great honor, but I felt badly because I said I won't be president when the Olympics came. Well, through circumstance, I am president. I want to make sure the Olympics is great, the World Cup is great, and the 250, maybe the most important of all, is the 250-year celebration is great. So what's happening is we will work very hard. You would not have had, I don't believe that if I didn't send in the troops, I don't think you would have had Los Angeles in condition to have the Olympics. I think you would have had to tell them, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go someplace else. And if you look at the police commissioner or the sheriff, he said, we really needed them. Thank God they were here. We really needed them. That was the first 2 or 3 days. After we solved their problems, then he said, well, I think we could have maybe done it. No, he was told what to say. He said, you go back to your files and see what he said. He said, thank goodness they came. If I didn't go and put our military there, or National Guard in that case, and we'll go military if we have to, but the National Guard went there. They were very effective. If we didn't do that, I don't think you would have had the Olympics in Los Angeles. The place would have been just like the 25,000 houses that burned down, where, by the way, the governor ought to focus on getting their permits. You know, the federal permits are given. Those are the hard ones, and they were given a long time ago. People can't rebuild their house because they can't get permits from the state and the city. And they ought to focus on that because it's very upsetting. I went there right after the fires. I walked the streets and I met a lot of great people that want to rebuild their homes. We took care of it from the federal standpoint, but they're not taking care of it from the city, the mayor and the governor. They're not getting their permits. They can't build their houses.
Wow, unhinged, next level rambling. He really suggested that if he didn't send the National Guard to Los Angeles, the Olympics wouldn't have been able to happen there. Wow, and what exactly did the National Guard do again that saved Los Angeles? Please, someone tell me. Because all this is somebody who's clearly something's wrong with him, ranting about things that he has no clue what he's talking about. And you know something is wrong because soon after that, he started talking about the Los Angeles wildfires and how he was walking around through them, it seems like. Yeah. And then he went even further, ladies and gentlemen. This guy, Donald Trump, is definitely he's out of his element. He's talking about houses burning down and he's thinking the National Guard is saving Los Angeles. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, it's all make-believe, and him and his supporters know it. And this is at his press conference where he's supposedly preparing to go meet with Vladimir Putin to negotiate peace. Who's going to tell him?
This is how you know that the United States of America is the most backwards country on the face of the earth. So Trump took to Temu Twitter and said this: "We're having a news conference tomorrow in the White House. I'm going to make our capital safer and more beautiful than it ever was before. The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give them places to stay, but far from the capital. The criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. It's all about to happen fast, just like the border. We went from millions pouring in to zero in the last few months. This will be easy. Be prepared. There will be no more Mr. Nice Guy. We want our capital back. Thank you for the attention to this matter." And then there are some photos of homeless tents. Now, let me ask you a question. What would an actual leader do in this situation? Well, an actual leader would say, oh my God, I see homeless tents everywhere. Maybe this is a systemic problem. Maybe this is something that I should work on because I'm sure that this is happening all over America. I mean, after all, the man has a majority of both houses of Congress. The man used to be a real estate developer, so I'm sure he knows something about zoning laws that are causing prices of real estate to go up. That's not the only thing, but it's one of the things that are causing prices to go up. Surely he can do something. Not this guy. Not this guy. Our president, who is a literal billionaire, is blaming people who have nothing and telling them to leave. Where are they going to go, and how are they going to get there? And is this fixing the problem? It is a billionaire telling people who have nothing that they are the problem. That is the society in which we live. And that is what this tweet is telling the entire world, okay? I want to remind you that another reason that housing prices go up is the rising costs of construction. Who is putting tariffs on Canadian lumber? He is. Who is keeping interest rates high because the tariffs are keeping inflation high? He is. Canada put a halt on foreign investments into housing, okay? And I honestly think that the United States should at least do the very same, okay? Because one of the reasons is that the housings keep getting bought up by foreign investments and hedge fund investments, and that's what's causing these prices to go up. But nobody is doing a thing about it. I mean, she had a plan to do something about it, but, you know, she had an annoying laugh, so I guess we couldn't have that in office. And I just don't want to hear that this can't be done, because other countries have been able to do this. Even cities like Salt Lake City have been able to greatly mitigate their homeless problems. They've been able to do it. I don't see why we can't. Any leader would look at the problem, and instead of saying, you need to leave, like, hey, why don't we go ahead and fix this? And that is why we are the most backwards country on the face of the earth.
The truth of the matter is just that on the surface, it looks like action, but under that surface, the crack grows deeper because outreach workers will lose track of the people they serve. Lifelines to food, medicine, housing help are suddenly cut off. And this message is clear, right? Living without a home is no longer just a struggle. These days, it seems like a crime because none of this builds affordable housing. It might just look like a street corner is clean for a month, but without real solutions. People drift back sicker, poorer than ever. Guys, in the end, this is not just about stories about tents disappearing from parks. It's a story about how a nation deciding how it treats its most vulnerable citizens, and is also about whether we are solving a problem or just wasting time. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. See you in my next video.